Good afternoon, everyone. Have you ever traveled or gone on vacation, or you love traveling, whether for work or for leisure? Now, many people have an idea of what they would like to bring when they travel. They often get stressed about the thought of actually packing and preparing for their trip. Now, as a seasoned traveler myself, from being in the military, having to PCS cross country or planning vacation trips back home, I know the stress that comes with actually having to pack your luggage. Now, today I want to share tips on the best way to prepare and pack for your next trip to eliminate any and all stress. I have divided it into 5 different steps. The first one is going to be determining what type of trip and luggage you're going to need. 2, organizing your trips and items you are bringing. 3, physically packing your items. 4, double checking your work. And 5 is going to be your security and your safety. Now, rolling right into step 1. Step 1 to packing for your trip is going to determine what kind of trip you're going on, which is what kind of luggage you're going to need. Now, if you're going to fly or if you're going to drive, your first step is going to be determining the means of your transportation. If you're driving cross country, you're going to have to think about things such as the vehicle you're going to be in and how many people you're going to have. That's going to dictate how many bags you can bring and what kind of bag you may want to bring. Such as if you're going for a couple of days, you might be able to get away with just using one backpack. That way you eliminate having to have multiple luggage and gives you more space in the vehicle. If you're going for a week-long trip, say, you might want to use a duffel bag. And this is one that has a softer material so you can easily stack and squish down what you need in a car. Now, when we talk about flying is a lot different. Airlines have their own policies on the weight and dimensions of what luggage you can bring. And if you go over these restrictions, you're actually going to pay overweight fees. And in order to eliminate that is to check ahead of time with your airline policies what the restrictions are. Now, for flying, it is better to use a hard case shuttle such as this one. This is going to be harder. It's on wheels if you're going to drag it through the airport. So this is going to take a lot more as opposed to a duffel bag, because when they throw these on belts and stuff, they're going to not create so much damage because of the hard shell that it is. Now, the next type of luggage that you want to think about bringing is going to be a carry-on. And according to Alliance Travel, finding the right type of luggage is going to be durable, functional, the size, free of wear and holes. So you're going to want to look at if your backpack or any of your bags have holes in it. Make sure that there's zippers and everything work, that it's a functional bag for you. So if you're going on a short work trip, you might think about a bag that contains your laptop. And then when we talk about carry-ons, we're going to talk about items such as this. You might think about a fanny pack that you can wear. You might want to think about a purse or something that you can just carry. And you might want to think about even smaller backpacks such as this. Now, these items are for being able to carry your personable items, such as your passport or your phones, your wallets, something that's going to be easier accessible than having it in a big luggage case. This also helps you when you go through security gates. So when you go through security gates, instead of having to fish through all your intimate items in a bigger bag, you might just want to put them in a smaller carry-on so they're more accessible and you can bring them out. You're not making anyone wait for you, and you're not also having to rummage through stuff, and it's going to maximize most of your time for traveling. Now, carry-ons such as fanny packs and backpacks have secured pockets. This is going to be the best way to be organized with these personal items, and this is according to the Ultimate 2020 Travel Media Guide. If you guys want to use it as a reference, this is the best way to keep it secure and make sure that your stuff doesn't get lost or stolen. Now, the next step we're going to talk about is going to be staying organized. So step number 2 is organizing and staying on top of your trip, and that's making a list of your items that you're going to want and need. Establishing your trip types such as beach, camping, cross-country driving is going to dictate the items that you're going to bring. So for example, if you're going to go on a long cross-country drive, you might think about packing comfortable clothes that you're going to be in, since you're going to be sitting in a car. Those are the items you might want to bring on your list. Now, if you're going to a beach, you might want to put on there swimwear or sunblock, and such of those items are going to be on your list. And according to the Travel and Leisure staff of the Meredith Corporation, making a list will help manage your stress of traveling and keep you organized. Now, keeping you organized, such as making a list like this, is going to ensure that you also don't forget small stuff. Sometimes people pack all their big things in their luggage and they're going to forget about chargers or toothpaste or little items like that that you can just stow away in smaller pockets. Now, number 3, this is usually where people get the most stress when they get overwhelmed thinking about everything, and that's going to be the actual physical part of packing. Now, this third step is actually the easiest one, because once you have established your type of trip, established your luggage, and now you have made your list, you can easily now pack all of your items. So by packing all your items, it's easy to lay out everything in front of you. Having your list for a reference, laying out all of your items in front of you, and checking off that list as you put the items in your bag is going to keep you from forgetting anything, keeping you organized, and also making sure to visually see that you don't have things unnecessary that you're bringing. So visually seeing everything is going to make it easier for you to stay organized. Now, there are some tips for the actual physical part of packing to maximize your space. And these tips are taken from the Braverman Steps to Perfectly Packed Suitcase. And one of the first tips I'm going to share with you is going to be eliminating, again, unnecessary items. So if you're taking shoes or jackets or even jeans and pants of that sort of nature, you might want to try to only use 1 to 2 pairs of those, because it's going to keep you from having to overpack. Now, when you have multiple activities that you can do, you can wear the same jeans or the same shoes for. This again is going to keep you from overpacking. Now, another way to be able to stay from packing too much is going to actually bring some sort of detergent with you. So if you have a way to actually wash your clothes, then you don't have to bring as many clothes because you can re-wear them, making sure that they're clean. Now, talking about making sure that they're clean, a good way to make sure to pack your bags as a tip for this, to keep your items clean, is going to be to wrap your shoes, wrap anything personable like toothbrushes and stuff like that, and put them aside so that they're not getting anything dirty. Anything like shampoo bottles you might want to put in a bag in case they explode in your bag. That's going to make sure that, again, you're maximizing your space and you're not going to create a mess with all your items. Now, another couple tips that Braverman points out is to roll your clothes. So if you have pants or shirts, it's actually going to maximize space if you roll them instead of fold them in there. Now, another thing you can do and invest in are going to be vacuum sealed bags. Vacuum sealed bags are actually going to create way more space if you're going on long trips and you already have a big bag and having trouble fit everything. I would recommend investing in some vacuum sealed bags to give yourself more room and maximize your space. This now brings me to my 4th step. The 4th step is going to be to actually double check. It's always double checking your work. So by double checking is, of course, looking at your list, making sure you've crossed everything off, you've packed everything in there. But by double checking, you can also utilize talking to your friends or your family, saying, hey, this is the kind of trip I'm going to. What do you think I would need? Because maybe perhaps you forgot to put something on your list that you didn't think about. Or if you're traveling with a buddy, another way to save space and also stay organized and double check your stuff is to talk to your travel partners, your travel buddies that you're going with. So for example, if you're going to the beach and you didn't think about bringing sunblock, but they suggest that you bring sunblock, that's a good way to remember something. Or to maximize space, you can